Today I'm going to show you how to draw these chives flowers with markers. This is an easy beginner drawing lesson for kids of all ages, so let's draw.
Hi everyone, welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Nature and the Universe, we draw everything that's in nature and everything that's up in the skies. So let's begin.
All right, let's draw some chive flowers. Now I'm going to show you what you need for this drawing lesson. You're going to need a piece of paper. I have my dollar store pad here. It's 8.5 by 11 inches wide. You're going to need a pencil and an eraser. And we're going to use markers today. I have a black fine tip marker that I use for outlining. I also have a purple marker and a green marker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my chive flowers first, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my black fine tip marker to outline. I'm going to let the marker dry, and then I'm going to erase all of my pencil marks. So I'm going to leave that up to you if you want to do that. And I've got a little dollar store paintbrush that I just use to kind of brush away dust from my page. So why don't I start drawing my chive flowers? Now what I'm going to do first is draw one of the chives or the stem. Okay? And it's pretty thin. So there's that. That's the first one right there. And I'm going to draw a second one, maybe just a little taller. And it's got a very thin stem as well. And I'm going to draw a third one. And that one's going to go out a bit on the side like this. And that one has a thin stem as well. Now I'm calling them stems, but this is the part that we eat, the little green parts of the chive. Why don't I show you a photo of the chives that I have in my garden right now? As you can see here, there are a lot of purple flowers, and I know you can eat the purple flowers, but I don't really eat them, but it's the green parts that we usually eat. So why don't we start drawing the flowers themselves? Now watch what I'm doing here. The bottom of the flower is just kind of a jagged lines like that. And we do a second part that comes out, more jagged little lines like this. And then finally we do a third part that comes out a little further with more kind of jagged lines like that, because that's really what the flower looks like. It looks kind of pointy. So we're going to do that for all three of these. We'll start with the little jagged part in the middle. And then we come out and we put a more jagged part that goes around it. And then another jagged part that goes all the way around. And we can make it as big as we want. Okay, why don't we do that for the third flower? Jagged little lines like this. And then the second part, more jagged little lines and a line that goes right back to the stem. And a third spot where we put lots of jagged lines for that chive flower, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a few little pointy chives like this. One here, one on the side here. And we can add some in the middle of these two flowers and middle of these two flowers, just in the background, a little pointy little chive coming up here and a pointy little chive coming up here. And at the bottom we can just do a little squiggly. That's all we need to do. So now I'm going to take my black fine liner pen, marker that is, and outline everything that I drew. So here I go. And I'm going to leave it up to you if you want to do this or not. You can just go ahead and start coloring in. But because I know that I'm erasing my pencil lines, I'm not worried about going outside the lines at all. You see, I'm kind of not really being too accurate. I'm just more or less following my lines, because like I said, I know I'm going to be erasing the pencil marks, so it doesn't matter if I go outside the lines or not. Okay, I've got all of the chives done, the little stems. So now I have to be careful though. If you want to check, I know my marker and I know it's dry, but sometimes if your marker isn't dry and you go and put your hand on it, you can smudge everything. So you can kind of go like this or use a paper towel and see if it's dry. If you get any marker on your fingers, then you know it's not dry and you have to leave it for a while before you can start to erase your pencil. Otherwise you just get a big smudgy mess everywhere. I have done this before, so I'm telling you from experience. And we don't want to have a big smudgy mess everywhere, right? So you can probably see I'm not really following my pencil lines too much. But like I said, it doesn't matter because I'm erasing them. Chives always remind me of the summertime. Do you know what chives are? Have you ever eaten them? Most people eat onion chives. They taste like onions. They're not onions, but they're almost like a very mild tasting onion herb that we put in soups and on salads, and a lot of people use them on decorations for food. You can use them in dips. So everything's outlined. And like I said, I know my marker, so I know that everything is dry. So I'm able to go in with my eraser right now and erase all of my pencil marks. But if you have to do a test with your marker, I think that's important, because if your marker's not dry, like I said, you will have a smudgy mess, and we don't want that. So I'm starting with the stems because that's what I did first. I know for sure my marker is dry. I'm just going to take my little paintbrush and brush off all those eraser marks. And I'm not really pressing down hard with my eraser, because even though marker is pretty strong, sometimes you could erase it and you damage your page that way, and we don't want to damage our page. So we want to be real careful. Just erase all the pencil marks very gently. If you have to go over it a second time, that's okay. Now I'm going to go and erase the flower pencil marks. All right. There's another type of chive. Like I said, most people know onion chives. I think that's also called common chives. But there's also garlic chives. They look exactly like this, but they have white flowers instead of purple flowers, and they taste more like a mild garlic than they do a mild onion. It's really, really cool. You know, I love garlic and I love onion, and it's nice once in a while to have a little bit of a milder flavor. So that's why I love these chives. I'm just moving this because I know I moved it around when I was erasing. I don't want you guys to not see what I'm doing. Let's just get rid of all of these pencil marks. There we go. It almost looks like a stencil. Now we can color it in. So why don't we start with the purple? I have a purple marker here. I actually got this at the dollar store. So I'm going to draw the entire flower. I'm going to color the entire flower in purple because that's what they look like. They are purple. So I'm just being careful not to go outside of the lines. And what I like to do is I like to outline first. That's just me. It gives me kind of a little bit of a reference as to where I'm putting in my color. So when I'm done outlining, I can just go in and color everything in. And I'm going outside the black a little bit, but that's okay. You know, we're here to have fun. We don't want to have perfection. Perfection is boring. Let's just be creative and have fun. And you don't have to worry about all this because the entire chive flower is purple. So you don't have to worry about going outside the lines of the inside, you know, the jagged little zigzaggy lines that we made with black. All of it's purple, so we can color the whole thing in. See how easy that is to make a nice chive flower? Here we go. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the other two flowers. I'm going to first outline because that's what I like to do. You can color it in any way you want. I think the markers look really, really nice. I was going to do this drawing with coloring pencils, but then I realized how pretty the markers looked. So I changed at the last minute. There, now I'm just going to color in the entire flower with purple. How are you guys doing? Are you doing okay? Are you using markers? Because you know you could use crayons and coloring pencils too if you want. It's whatever you want. I just want you to have fun. Be creative. Take a little break from the world and do some art. Okay. Now I'm going to do my third flower here. Same thing as I did before. Just kind of outlining. My dog is snoring in the background. I'm sure you know that by now if you follow my channel. We always hear pets in this house. There we go. Actually, my hound dog, he loves to eat everything, and he will eat chive flowers. He doesn't care what it tastes like. He just wants to eat it. Although I don't think onions are very good for dogs, so chives are like onions. Gotta be careful with them. We don't want them to get tummy aches, right? There we go. So my chive flowers are all colored in. I'm going to take my green marker and I'm just going to color in all of the chive stems, all right? And I may not talk too much because I have to concentrate on what I'm doing. Yeah, these chive stems are kind of thin, so we have to be careful when we're coloring. If you go outside the lines, really, my friends, don't even worry about it. But why don't you try to pay attention to the detail and try to stay inside the lines a little bit. I love green and purple together. It looks really, really nice, doesn't it? Oh, these look good enough to eat. I can imagine chopping up the chives and putting them in a soup. All right. Last little one here. There we go. My chive flowers are done, and I think they look very pretty. Now, my friends, don't forget, I want you to always sign your work, okay? I want you to take ownership of the beautiful work of art that you just created. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson, my friends, so we'll see you next time on Rain Francis Art for Kids. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.